Welcome back to the channel. Are you still thinking about the Dune movie? Are you still intrigued by thoughts of wandering the desolate world as Paul of Arrakis and surviving that harsh water barren planet? Maybe you just want to test your mettle against an occasional giant sandworm. Well, look no further as the latest game from Tunnel Vision Studios has you covered. StarSand is a brutal hardcore survival game set in such an environment, so sit back and let's get straight into it. Over lockdown I've had the chance to try my hand at a fair few survival games, and the thing about a lot of them is that, well, it isn't that hard to survive them. Valheim, Raft, The Forest and others all have their challenges, but just getting enough food or basic materials to get by isn't one of them. So when I started playing StarSand, it felt very familiar, as there was a standard tutorial with one of the first tasks being to find a rock. So far, so typical, except there weren't any rocks. The game begins with your unnamed character getting lost in a sandstorm whilst in the middle of a cross-desert marathon. So, of course there aren't any rocks, you're in the middle of the desert. It took me a good while to find a rock, and over the course of 3 hours of gameplay, I learned to get excited at the glint of that sweet grey gold lying on the ground. This is your first hint that StarSand is more in the hinterland studio, long dark, kind of survival games than something more casual. StarSand is in its first early access release, and so it is quite understandably a little limited in the crafting options. I didn't discover most of what was in the game, but the unfound recipes are visible in the crafting menu in silhouette, so I have some idea of the number of recipes there are to find. More content will be added to the game over time ahead of release. This will doubtless increase the options available for crafting and building in the game. The map in the game is probably my favourite aspect of it. There is nothing on the map to tell you where you currently are or which way you're facing, and the only marks on the map are ones you put there. You can build markers in the game that will then add a symbol to the map, and you can always add oases, ruins or other points of interest to the map at your leisure. I mean, you don't know exactly where on the map you are, or where these locations are, but you'll probably find them once you have your bearings. That's why getting turned around and losing these bearings in StarSand can be absolutely lethal and a nasty killer. Dotted about in the sand are various places of interest to discover, many with valuable resources and others with something even more intriguing, a slice of the mystery behind where you are and what happened here. My playtime wasn't enough to discover much by way of the storyline of StarSand, but the taster I had was enough to make me want to see more and to find more of the ruins that would both reveal the story and provide new items to craft. In its form at release, StarSand stands well poised between the casual and hardcore ends of the survival market and makes great use of its unique environment. It is currently only a single-player game, but the developers have confirmed that cooperative multiplayer is on the way. It remains to be seen how well the game will translate into multiplayer, but even with that question mark, there is enough here that bodes well for a single-player experience. There are a couple of obvious areas of improvement, most notably around the tactics and responsiveness of combat with the desert's inhabitants, but it would be harsh to mark the game down for any of these aspects at such an early point in development. There is a lot of promise to StarSand, and I will certainly be checking back in with it over time to see how the game develops. StarSand is available for PC on Steam in early access from the 4th of November 2021.